to the OT Tip of the Month, handwriting tips. In distance learning, many of our students were using technology as opposed to pencil and paper tasks. So now that they're back on site, you might be noticing that some students are having difficulty with handwriting purely because of the lack of exposure. But there's also this list of plenty of underlying foundational skills for writing that our students may be struggling with. As an OT, I have tips and strategies to support all of these areas, but for today, we're going to focus on just improving postural control, and some ideas and strategies for you to use to improve alignment, spacing, and sizing. The first thing that I want to bring to your awareness is just have you observe whether or not your students have proper positioning. You really should have 90 degrees at your elbows, 90 degrees at their hips, and 90 degrees at their knees with their feet on the floor. Now with our littler kids or kids that are smaller than the other kids, their feet may be dangling, so really just putting a couple of books or a footstool can be really effective to get them in the right position. You also might need to adjust the desk or the table to the proper height so their shoulders aren't hiked up. Having the proper position makes a really big difference for kids to allow them to not fatigue or have pain or aches. If they don't feel good in an uncomfortable position, they're going to more quickly not stay engaged with the writing task. The other thing that you can do to keep that 90-degree position is you can use something like a cushion like this or a wedge seat, and that also helps them get into the right position. Now with their wrists, you want their wrist to be in a neutral position as opposed to being flexed. So if you see kind of that flexed wrist, what you can do is you can use a binder like this, and you can just put that under their workspace, and it just gets their wrist in the right position. And the last thing to look for is how are their fingers positioned on the pencil. So it really should be a nice static tripod grasp. Commercially available now are all sorts of pencil grips to facilitate a more mature grasp that you can try with your students. Every student has different preferences when it comes to pencil grips. Now, when thinking about alignment and letters sitting on the writing line, an easy thing to do is just highlight the writing line with a highlighter. That's just an additional visual cue for the student to know where to put their letters on the line. And I would go through and do that if it's a multiple sentence or several answers that you're going to have on the page. Another great option is to use graph paper. Graph paper can help students to know how big or how small to write their letters, and also by just skipping a box with the graph paper, that can help them to space out, to have spacing between their words. So there's this 1 centimeter graph paper that you can get online, or a 1/2 inch graph paper. You can just search for printable graph paper, and you'll be able to print up different graph paper that's a little bit bigger than the traditional math graph paper that you think of. So these are some ideas for you to try if you're seeing some difficulty with sizing, alignment, or spacing. Remember to check their alignment and see how their body is being positioned for maximized success with handwriting. We hope to see you again next time. Thank you.